Hey everyone, happy rainy Sunday. I wanted to make a different kind of video today. I know mine are usually about health food and how to make this or that, but lately something that's been big in my life is reading, and I've never really been too consistent with reading, and lately I have been because it really helps me. I found that it really helps me sleep at night, and so I've gotten into a few books that I just wanted to share about you. So basically it's like a book review kind of thing, and maybe will inspire you to pick one up and read it. So this first book that I want to review is the first one that I had finished. It's a book called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by by Mark Haddon. And apparently I took this out of the Randolph High School library in 2005. Sorry, I still have it 11 years later. I'm sure I paid them, but I don't know. I laughed when I saw this little clicking card in the thing, and I thought it was funny. But anyway, I finally did pick it up and read it. So the main character, his name is Christopher, and he has autism. And he is actually the one who is narrating this book. And I don't know a great deal about autism. However, I do know that there is a spectrum, and he actually really excels and enjoys math, and it's something that is very calming to him. Whenever he kind of gets this overwhelmed feeling that can happen with too much stimulation for him, he will do multiplication in his head and these kinds of things. And it's amazing math, like calculator status math. I can't even get there, But so basically, I don't want to give away too much of the book, because if you do read it, I want you to have that experience. But so I'm going to just try to be as reviewer-ish as possible. So basically, Christopher, his neighbor has this dog, and it ends up dead, murdered basically. Someone put a pitchfork through it or something crazy like that. So he decides that he, is going to solve this murder, and he's very influenced by Sherlock Holmes, and he really likes those kinds of books and stuff. So he decides to go on this investigation, and in order to do that, he's having to kind of step out of this box that he's in with his with his autism. He has problems communicating with people and things like that. And it's clear in this book when he talks about speaking with people and things like that. So for the sake of solving this dog's murder, he is really kind of growing in that aspect where he is speaking with neighbors that he's never spoken to, who are strangers, and really stepping out. And you really watch him grow through this, and it's amazing because it's not like a memoir thing, saying, well, I did this and this is what I've learned. It's kind of just as the reader, you can just see this progression. It was really amazing, and that's what I really loved. And basically, when he does find out who murdered Wellington, who is the dog, he really has an emotional response to it, and he decides that he can no longer stay where he's staying, and he decides to go live with his mother, who is in London. So this is based in England, I guess you would say. And in order to do that, he needs to travel, and so he basically by himself learns to talk to people and ask questions on how to buy tickets and travel here, and he's very nervous this whole time, and you could see as he's going through these experiences, rather than as before where he used to freak out and be violent and hit and scream, he would kind of use certain coping mechanisms that this therapist in school had taught him. And at the end, everything settles down, and the story doesn't, it's not, there's not this dramatic end where it's you close the book and you're because this is why I loved it, because it was almost up to the reader it was like, I felt like it was for me to like see, and it was just like, oh my god, I just felt like this like outsider looking in, and like it's like watching a child take their first steps kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like they're just doing it, they're just, because that's what they're doing, but us as adults, we see like the significance in this, and so that's kind of the effect that this book had on me, and it was really empowering. And this is one of the first books that I ever like literally laughed out loud at, because he says things so frankly that are funny, but he doesn't mean them to be funny, you know what I mean? And that's why they're funny. So so that was my review on The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. And if you'd like to borrow this, you know me, you can, but you have to give it back because it's mine. So yes, but I'm sure it's at the library anyway. So so yeah, that was this book. And then since this video is kind of short, I'll do this other one. So the next book that I just finished is by Lori Shiller and Amanda Bennett, and I guess Amanda Bennett is the co-writer, but Lori Shiller is the main character and writer of this book, and it's called The Quiet Room. And I really enjoyed this book. I had to kind of learn to read it, because at first it wasn't in like, it's not in chapter form, it's like different people talking about Lori, the main character, and their experience with what's going on with her. And basically she suffers from a mental illness, serious mental illness, schizophrenia, and it really opened my eyes to what kind of schizophrenia is, you know, because there's always this sort of, I guess it would be this like ignorant kind of stereotypical, like I hear voices, I hear things, but like this was like a very interesting thing to see how tormented this woman was, you know. And it's almost like I found myself getting frustrated almost with her, because it's, you know, the book was based in, it was from between the 50s and to the 80s, and I guess at that time, you know, pharmaceuticals as far as mental health, you know, there's still like lithium for everything, you know, and it was it was interesting to kind of see the progression of these things, and she wasn't getting better, and there'd be like a lot of like relapses and stuff, and like the things that she would say that the voices were telling her, it kind of like put her in this box, you know, like I was talking about this other main character. He was in this box, and he kind of found his way out. Yeah, basically she's bouncing around from hospital to hospital, and it's just crazy because like all her life, like growing up, it was like she was going to be able to be this like model citizen, like she was good, her family was good, and like everything was good, but like she had this illness that kind of like hit her during a certain time in her life, and she was older, you know, I think she was like out of high school, and then all of a sudden like the voices that, you know, they're called the voices, they came, and for a while she was able to kind of like just cope with them, really. And, you know, she goes through periods of finding drugs. It talks about Narcotics Anonymous in here, which, you know, is something that's close to me. It was heartwarming, you know what I mean? I, like, went to see her kind of come out of that, and, like, it made me think about, like, the small things that me as a somewhat mentally healthy person can take for granted, you know, like she couldn't even really have a conversation with people without these voices in her head telling her that they're going to kill her, and or she should kill them or whatever. So that was a really good one too. My sister actually had to read this for for her graduate program, and I stole it from her, and then I read it, and I'll give it back. But, so if you ever are interested in that kind of mental health and that kind of suffrage type story and coming out of that, this is definitely a good book. And then I guess I'll do this last one, and this isn't like a story, but it's been like my Bible. This is where I learn all my health stuff from, or I started, you know, this is where it started to bloom for me. It's called Prescription for Nutritional Healing, and it's by Phyllis A. Blatch. Blach, however you say that. And she's a clinical nutritionist, I believe, and an MD. And basically, I love this book. I seriously recommend this just to have as like a reference guide in your home if you're into these like natural cures, and just kind of learning about different types of diseases or ailments. And it goes from things like the common cold to cancer, on what kind of nutritional things can help combat what's happening. And this is really just like something I go to. I've learned a lot, like how to deal with like acne. Here it talks about insomnia, intestinal problems, like constipation, just like things we deal with that we like will really just like run to the pharmacy for, instead of kind of just trying to figure out what exactly the root of the problem is. And a lot of the times nutrition is a beautiful tool, like it's medicine, and I've really come to learn that. And I got this book when I was young, and this is like a newer version of the one that I had, but my Uncle Stanley, he was really into this kind of stuff. And when he passed away, my father had, they go through stuff, and my father had brought this book home, and I've always been interested in like the medical reference books that my mom had and stuff like that, but I had found nothing like this that talked about like what nutrients and things that are essential or important for certain ailments. And it tells you, like, it talks about herbs and like other recommendations. And it also has a part in here about like how to test yourself for food allergies, which is really cool. And it's basically like the elimination testing, which I've done it. And you find that it's just based on like how you feel. You like eliminate things for 2 weeks and like reintroduce them, and just like evaluate like what you feel, or like if certain symptoms were coming back. Because I have like dealt with constipation all my freaking life, and I'll tell you, it's horrible. Okay, it really freaking sucks. And I'm not gonna take Miralax, or every time I'd go to the gastro, they'd put me on meds for it. And then I found that like when I cut down on meat and cheese and eggs, especially cheese, which is kind of like a constipating thing, but I found the most difference in my overall well-being when I did like cut out meat a lot. That like I'm fine, and like up the probiotics and like all these kinds of things that I know are from this book, and just exploring these kinds of things. So I really suggest this, and it's on Amazon, and I don't know, it's like $20 to $30, but I think I look funny. It's like $20 or $30, and it's very good, and they're always coming out with new editions. And this one is actually a newer one, and it went into like essential oils, and also talks about herbs, which I love, and vitamins and stuff, and what each one does, and what it's good for, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope that you enjoyed this review thing, and I'm reading another book right now, and then once I am done with it, I will I'll do another video on a review of that, because I think it's fun. And I have a couple more health related videos coming up that I wanted to do. One, I want to show you guys how to make a tincture, which is basically like an herbal extract, which I love, and I've been making them. And also, I was thinking about doing one on how to make homemade lip balm. So once I get time and like ingredients and stuff, and what I need to do that, I'll upload videos on that, and you can watch them. So have a good day. Bye.